Week 2026. We've got another delightful call today with Maureen Edwards.
Beloved
And
sister, you're a little faint. Can we get your mic closer? There you are.
here we are. And I'd just like to start with a sacred space. We've been calling in the creature of World Unity Week to be with us. It's already here. So many of us have been in the space all week. It's really beautiful to see so many just really marinating in the beauty of it all week long. So let's just hold a moment together, grounding in and preparing the space for Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you, beloved sister. Welcome, everyone, to World Unity Week. And at this time, it is my pleasure to introduce my beloved sister, Maureen Edwardson. Welcome, sister.
Well, hello and welcome from everywhere, from all time zones, from all times, because people that are here present get a direct experience. People that watch the replay will also get a direct experience. And so we are in this space where we have built up so much. And the topic of today for inner resonance technologies is clear your slate. Let's co-create. Let's play, let's collaborate, let's cooperate, let's activate. And so how can we do that when there's so much with us from all around us, from the history of the buildup? How do we create a true new beginning? And so we are so programmed up. There are so many automatic assumptions that we all come to the table with. Every moment, every perception with is flooded and really engorged, if you will, with perceptual reality. Some of it may have been true once, maybe, and it's certainly not true anymore. And it's certainly no longer relevant to our greatest good and the greatest good of the collective. And so I just love that I got to follow Dr. Joni Carley and her work on metaphysics and spirituality and consciousness, because it's just reiterating what I also teach, is that consciousness is primary. So we are breathing in infinite source energy. Infinite. Did I say the word infinite? That has no limits. And so this is truly who we are. We're breathing in spirit. We're breathing our greatest self in. But what's the result? It's a little bit filtered, would you say? And we can't quite reach it. And we don't quite know how to clear the way to be in our full presence with what Joni was calling equanimity. How can we address everything equally with our heart and our perceptual openness? How can we collaborate with another when we've had certain assumptions about that other or the work that they do, or just how they behave in the world? Oh my goodness, I behave a lot in the world. Anybody that knows me. And so the joy is that, we just get to come fresh to each other every day. And every day is a new opportunity, a new breath, a new beginning. And Who's up for, making it easier to show up when you've cleared all of your past perceptions on something, someone, and the greater potential that we see not acting out in the world? Who's ready for a clear perspective? Anybody here? Yeah, yeah, excellent. Can't see you all right now with myself being spotlighted, but I'm assuming a great big yes. So, how do we do this? It's our subconscious that holds all these old memories and these old programs. And as we hear all the time, consciousness is fundamental. And so, what's in our consciousness, what's in our field, is what acts out through our lives and through our bodies. And so, Einstein said it all quite perfectly and quite eloquently and elegantly and briefly, as he says, simplicity is the key. Consciousness is the sole governing agency of the particle. So our higher mind consciousness really runs our physical, our emotional, our mental, our spiritual reality. All of who we are is run by our consciousness. And I have another grand announcement to make. Are you ready for this one? We're all out of we're all out of our minds. You and you and you and myself, we're all out of our minds. And I love that from Bruce Lipton because we are all out of our minds. The mind actually is a field all around us. And I have another astounding announcement. Are you ready for this one? This is a paradigm buster right here, right now. Are you ready? There is no memory in the body. What? Who said that? Really? Do you remember Candace Pert, Molecules of Emotion? She felt she was the discoverer of neuropeptides, the emotional connection between the mind and the body. And Candace Pert really felt that the body was the subconscious mind because in a fraction of a second, the body actually acts out what's in our field, what's in our consciousness. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The body is a direct receiver of the signal in our field. And the body is a radio that just plays it out. So I have a question, another question for you. Where's the program that the radio plays? Where's the TV program? Hello? It's not in the radio, is it? We have to tune to the channel. We have to have a resonance with that information in order to receive it. So this work is called Inner Resonance Technologies, and it allows us to clear our slate instantly for what's ready because we're in charge. Anybody ever hear that? Oh my goodness, are you really in charge? Yes, yes, we are in charge. We are the commander of our personal universe, says quantum physics. And also, Bruce Lipton teaches us the track from a thought into a physical result, an emotion, a thought and an emotion, and the physical result. So his work, Biology of Belief, is certainly a fundamental, an oldie but a goodie that's still in that futuristic sense of our understanding. So we are it. We are one with each other. And guess what? We are breathing particles, holographic particles of the whole history of creation in every breath. And guess where I learned that one? I learned that one from the eminent 90-year-old, a very internationally well-known, local to Vancouver, environmental scientist called David Suzuki. And he taught me, and taught all of us, that every breath we're breathing has molecules in it from everything and everyone, all the greats, not so greats, holographic particles of the whole history of creation in every single breath. Think about that for a moment. Where's the separation in that? We are one. We are one with each other. It's impossible not to be because we're breathing. physically one. It makes sense to what people call, what First Nations call, all my relations. And I've been blessed to work with First Nations people directly since 1996. So for all these years, and still, get to go to my local First Nations people, Stalo people, the people of the river, the people of flow. And guess what? I'm all water, apparently. I'm all flow. I'm probably one of the most spontaneous people that I know. But you can test me out if you like. However, how do we flow? How do we flow around all those boulders that life, encounters and builds up? How do we shift and clear all the static in our field? Because if we are actually breathing in infinite source energy, and guess what? Do you know what we're breathing into? Do you know about this? This is our communication device. But did you know, most of you probably know, this is a quantum supercomputer. We have trillions and trillions of cells, depending on which scientist you listen to. And to me, a trillion is fine. Never mind 100 trillion like this. Oh my God, what is that number? And so every neuron in that trillion cellular system has 100,000 potential connections. Each tiny neuron in that trillion cellular system, 100,000 potential connections. There is no test. Each one of those 100,000 potential connections, are you ready for this? Each one of those 100,000 has 85 billion wormholes and microtubules into other dimensional realities. So we're breathing in infinite source energy, infinite, into our quantum supercomputers that are an instant alchemical shifter. And this has been proven for decades through psychiatry. I had training from a woman that was a psychiatrist that was part of a team rewriting the manual, the referral manual on multiple personality disorders, as they were called at that time. We're always changing our acronyms and definitions. However, it was much more common than what people thought, because we wear different hats. We're not maybe as dissociated, but we all have different parts of ourselves. Talk about separation. So how do we come from that same reference point of our heart? What would love do in any circumstances, in any aspect of who we are? But back to my original point is that the psychiatry field have heavily documented repeatedly that they've watched the body shift personalities. One personality of this one person in one body has fourth stage cancer. And when they shift into the next into an other personality, whatever that other is, some people have a few, that personality can be completely and totally chemically, physically free of cancer. So we may have heard this and we think, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's all good to hear. And bright blue eyes to dark brown, I've seen that happen. And also, the most ultimate one that I heard about, and it was true because then after that I saw it on CSI, so it must be true, right? Is blood type. There was a mass killer, and they were following very carefully all the DNA and all this modern stuff, CSI, and then they had a different DNA, and thought, oh, we've got two killers. Well, that makes more sense. And so what happened at the end, because I've already, spoiled the end, is that it was the same criminal, but with a personality shift that had a different DNA signature. Changed their blood instantly. Now, isn't that remarkable? I find that stunning. But truth is, we are that. We can change our entire chemistry. We can change our own physiology. We can heal ourselves. We can clear that buildup of what's in our field that no longer is relevant or necessary to interfere with us and to separate us out and to weigh us down and get, have it harder and harder to carry that backpack, into the future. No wonder we get tired and die. Guess what? The body is a regeneration machine. There's no program for death. So this is next level, and it's not next level, it is old level. We've just forgotten who we are. And have you heard the term, we need to wake up and remember who we are? Anybody heard that one lately? Or any time? Yeah, exactly. And so, yes, so who are we? And how do we reclaim that? How do we clear all the fuzz, all the static, all the buildup of the heaviness, all of the world too much with us, you know? Whoa, it's a lot. So, how do we maintain our presence, our equanimity? How are we as a cell in the body of humanity, as a breath, as a molecule in the history of the planet, able to be in service to the greater wholeness? Well, I guess you've also heard that healing starts within, peace starts within. Anybody heard that one? So why that is, because we're fractal in the wholeness of a system. It's fractal, it's holographic. So the good news is when we wake up and remember who we are as spirit, as spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way, like, help, help, I'm drowning in this physicality. Whoa, wait just a moment here. Oh, yeah, I'm spirit, I'm infinite. So how do I access that? Where's the key? Come on, give me the key. Where's the golden key? Well, a lot of keys are getting downloaded right now in different forms. And I've been doing this work for 36 years, and it's still cutting edge. And it's still available for each of us like that. So I developed this, what I call a formula of questions. I prefer to call it a recipe, a soup that gets to purify all of your history, your ways of being, all the unresolved toxicity of one kind or another, and how it limits us, how it slows us down, how it goes like, oh my God, yeah, we don't have to stay there. We can more quickly shift out because truly our spiritual self is quantum in nature. Spirit is quantum. It is the all of it. I just love when that movie came out, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that is the truth of who we are. We are, I am that, I am you, I am this, I am that tree. There is no separation. And there is differentiation, there is unification of our differences, which creates the wholeness, that creates that oneness. But we all are looking to remember and then contribute our gift, our peace in ease and in flow and in grace. Sometimes, you know, I invite people onto a magic carpet ride, and then just all of that old stuff, you know, just all of that old stuff gets just whooshed away. And so, truly, we've been working too hard for too long. And now we are waking up to easier, gentler ways that allow, because you know, at the conscious level, of course, it's really commonly known in our, you know, our fields, our communities, that we're aware of only 5% of our overall consciousness. But did you know that of that 5% that we're consciously aware of, 99.9% is looping up from the old programs? So fortunately, not all the programs are bad, but we have 0.1% access to new thought beyond program. So what if we could clear all the programs that are no longer necessary or true or relevant or serving our greatest good and the greatest good of humanity? And what if then, as we are as a cell in the body of humanity, can shift and clear that exponentially in that quantum place where there is no time, through us, by us, as us? We are it. We are powerful beyond measure. We can't always measure it because we don't know everything. We don't know everyone. Remember when there was that beautiful, oh, that wasn't so beautiful. Remember, you know, there was that huge tsunami after the earthquake. I believe it was in Taiwan way back a few years. Was that 2006 already? Somewhere back there. And Dr. Emoto, everybody know Dr. Emoto. If you don't, you can look him up. He had the technology, and continued by his son and others now, like Beta Austin to take pictures of the molecules of the crystalline structure of water, and then send thoughts and blessings and love and gratitude and music and you name it, pictures. Dr. Emoto, his first time in Vancouver here, he was just laughing and slapping his leg because he could speak English, but he had a translator to speed it up. And so, there he had this picture, of an elephant, a bottle of water on the picture of an elephant. And then he showed the crystal that was informed, by that into the water. And it was a very hexagonal crystal. And from the top, guess what was there? A trunk of an elephant. That was the symbol that defined the elephant. The elephant, and that was imprinted in the crystalline structure of the water. So it's really incredible. The more you find out about this reality and how and who we are, it's just miraculous and it's magnificent and it's just without end in discovery. And it's such an exciting place to be, and apparently we opted to be here. So let's just clear the slate and get into cooperating and collaborating and bringing our best selves, our golden threads together in a clear place where there's less judgment, or there's reserved judgment at least, or there's open space, to show up and have an open mind. And so here we are. So there's so much I could continue with in terms of the science and who we are. So let's just get to the nub. Let's get to lightening up. Let's get to clearing our slates so that we can come together with less thoughts of separation, less static, because the static and the resistance just gets in our way of inspiration, of new thought, of new creativity. And at the conscious level, how well is it working yet, guys? Look around. So the conscious mind processes at 40 bits per second. And when I first heard that, I went, whoa, we rock. 40 bits every second? And then subconscious, we know, 40 million bits. Oh, I like that better. And yet quantum is instant. IRT, inner resonance technologies, accesses your instant capacity to shift of what's no longer relevant or necessary. And we don't have to figure that out. We don't even have to know anything. And we certainly don't need to feel it until we heal it. I mean, that's one option. We have new options as we're waking up into our elevated consciousness that we can just, get that brush out and rub off the slate, clear it all in one go of what's ready. And of course, it's really interesting how I chose this topic. I wasn't thinking because I was, of course, on a deadline. As usual, I had a bunch of other stuff waiting, and so, okay, just get something in the system, just that came in from nowhere. I haven't used that title ever before. And I thought, well, I can go in and edit it, but here we are. Clear your slate. Yes, and I didn't, who knew? So movies, my friend next door, she said, she used to be in the movie industry, which is quite rampant up here in Vancouver, Hollywood North. And she said, it's like take one, take two. And between scenes, you clear the slate. And then you start fresh. With everything. So this is a good metaphor. So what we need to do, we need to clear the slate of our own consciousness, our own field, so that we can be more receptive and more aligned and more harmonized and see each other as part of each other and part of the oneness. What then would we do to another? How would we react if we were doing that to ourselves? And these have been, scriptural wisdoms out of every tradition for forever. It's a basis of the truth. We are it. We are one with all of everything. So are there any questions at this point? I'd like to open it up to a couple of questions, and then after that, we'll go in and have an experience where you get to clean your slate without having to figure anything out. You get to go on holiday while your quantum superconscious gets to do all the overwhelm and all of the heavy lifting, and we just get to play in the meantime. What a concept is that? Okay, are there any questions in the meantime before we go down all the rabbit holes out into the cosmos?
Family, feel free to raise your hand. Okay.
I can't see the group. Oh,
There
Kat.
we
Hello,
go.
Kat. Welcome.
Hi, I'm wondering, do you have any way of showing that it stays with you? Like it's not just a one and done and it was great for that day, but now it really doesn't hold up over time. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. We're all a work in progress. And when we go through the agreements, we choose only what is the safest and most appropriate and ready for us at any given time. We give permission for instant and permanent to show up. And then what's not quite ready, because even though we clear exponentially, I don't think of it as layers so much because it's in the timeless realities that whatever you're ready at any given time. But when it clears so effortlessly and so quickly, it's hard to notice. So I invite everybody to notice over the next little while. Sometimes it's just a simple matter of your, just lying, on your way to sleep, and you're reflecting on your day and say, oh, I responded differently. I didn't react. And we are in the ocean, we are having waves of experience, and so when we get into that next level of equanimity and we're really enjoying that, then another wave comes along. However, in my experience at this great age of 77 next week, then I can tell you it gets easier and faster and more joyful, because who we are is love. Who we are is joy. And as one program that I run called Be Michelangelo, we clear everything that's not the truth of us in the background by that part of us, our higher self, our higher Michelangelo self, has the whole picture. And so it's not one and done. It's one and done for an exponential amount beyond the conscious processor, which is, limited in its nature, and beyond the body's need to process or act anything out. That really slows us down. There's no healing crisis needed when you clear the signals in the field. Then you have greater free space to choose again. And then when you fall down those holes again, well, it gets easier and easier to because you're putting ground under your feet, and so then you can even look around and consciously drag yourself out. However, it gets easier and faster then, and it happens automatically. So I invite people to really notice, because all of the old beliefs, all the old limiting uh, patterns, well, automatically, people say, change your thought, change your life. But where do your thoughts come from? The thoughts come from your field of program. And so when you clear the program, your thoughts automatically start changing. You want to shift your weight. Well, you clear whatever is weighing you down, and guess what? Your diet starts changing. You start having a different appetite for different things that you want to eat, because they're healthy, but all of a sudden you just find yourself eating them. I have an appetite for that. And cookie comes along, no thanks. And I mean, really, truly, that's what happens. And so it just happens effortlessly in an easier, faster way with less resistance. So more and more every day. And at the end of the experience here today, which we just need to go right into, is you'll have a tool to shift your realities every day, to continuously clear. Because much like any computer, you can do a super duper defrag antiviral program once you've got the program installed, and then you have an icon on your desktop, and you just keep clearing, 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 and cleaning. And then you have open space to more equanimity, more balance, more harmony, more alignment with the truth of who you really are. So it's like an archaeological dig in that sense. You get the bones revealed, and then you get to flesh them out again with the wardrobe of your choice. And so from that point of view, it gets to be a more fun journey, and you get more aware. And yeah, and as Joni was saying, when you are shifting and continuously shifting, then you get to catch yourself sooner. Well, I would say that rather than the the only access we've had through repetition, we now will find a faster track through clearing the unconscious and the superconscious fields of consciousness that then allow us to automatically behave differently and be more of who we truly are. So it's a process, like anything, it's a journey, but IRT allows you to quicken it up. And when you have a faithful tool that you use every day, whether you feel you need it or not, you just get to continuously clear. And it's a faster route. Rather than having to go up against something, you get to choose love. But Mr. Fuller said, don't go up against anything. What are you choosing? What are you wanting to really experience? Who are you truly? You want more patience. You want more tolerance. Let's just clear everything unlike that. Like Rumi said, do not seek love. Seek instead to clear all the barriers to love. And that's what IRT is in a nutshell. So you see, I could have gone on and just said that and said, okay, you got it. Bye, guys. But let's just create a tool to access the love that we are. Got it? Ready? Alrighty then. Thank you for your question, Cap. And so now I presume that we're all breathing. I don't see anybody slumped over their chair. So just allowing yourself to notice that you are indeed breathing. Breathing in that beautiful consciousness of infinite source that we are part of and one with, breathing our portion of the infinite into these communication devices called the body supercomputer. And as you're remembering who you truly are, just take a moment to invite whatever spiritual support team you might have. And in this group, it's unlikely but possible to have atheists with us. And then, that's pure. That's it. We are it. This is just how we are built, who we are. So breathing in that knowing, breathing in that infinite nature, remembering who we are is fundamental to everything else. And if you have spiritual guides, angels, helpers in the other realms, now's the time just to say yes and thank you. Just a simple yes and thank you. And from that, breathing with awareness of what you're breathing into, your body, which is, a miracle machine. I healed myself of a massive heart attack 2 years ago in Ibiza with the Holo movement. Next morning in the ICU, I did my IRT, and everybody sent me love, like, ooh, what a remedy. And then the 100% was gone, the 70% was gone. I was released from the hospital in 5 days, flew home 4 days later as soon as I could get a flight on my own 18 hours, just 4 days out of surgery. It was so beautiful. And here I am. So now let's just allow all the programs that your body has that know how to do that to wake up and switch back on, because trauma and pain and limiting beliefs and old programs have just really, just tethered us into a, big ball of wax, just stuck. Switch on, body. Switch on and wake up, body. I'm going to count to 3, and let's just say it in a choir, all together in your own little Zoom rooms. 1, 2, 3. Switch on and wake up, body. Yay! All right, we're all awake. We're all switched on. Now what are we going to do? Guess what? We're in command. Science tells us. Spirit tells us. So let's just act like it. Let's just pretend for a moment, even if we don't believe it. So, are you choosing now to allow all the buildup, all of the stuff that shut us down, held us back, that we've been carrying, exhausted by, really struggling with? What if a lot of it isn't necessary? Some of it is perhaps to grow and learn and explore and have a journey. But what if there's a whole lot of buildup that can just drop away? Wouldn't that be amazing? That sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, let's just go see. So let's now, are you choosing to allow all the unresolved issues, known and unknown, on all aspects of how these issues have been interfering with you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financial limitations, and relationships of every kind, especially that one with you and your sovereignty and your ability to be love and create the life of abundance and purpose and joy that we all are made for. And so let's now also send the instruction on the keyboard to clear all levels of memory of anything resembling pain, anything that is interfering with love. All the files, all the programs that are not the truth of us. So then we get to press the delete button. And so now, all those levels of memory are your whole life. Every microsecond, going back to when you popped into the world, big smile on your face, all that time in utero, drinking in your mama's soup, all her lineage, all her programs, right back to conception and the input from your father. And beyond that, all of the ancestral memory. Guess what? Everything, all memory is sitting in your field simultaneously. So it's all available for shifting. And then all of the soul memory, past, present, which includes concurrent and parallel realities, so say the scientists, and future, because all we ever have is now. So let's just collapse from the past of what no longer matters, and from the future, which is not matter yet, does not matter either, into the present moment in this clear space to choose again in a different level of harmony and alignment. Yes. Maybe that's why we put our hands together. It brings the past and the future together into the present moment. I never had that thought until just now. I like that. So now, let's also include the collective memory that we spoke of. And then in these circles, we know about galactic and intergalactic memory. So whatever fear that engenders, whatever experiences, whatever assumptions that each of us might have, let's just clear the deck. Let's clear your slate. Let's clear the memory field of what's no longer relevant moving forward. And so then ultimately into that greatest cosmic field of oneness, which is only love, that holds us as we wake up and really, really claim and remember who we are as love. So here's a series of questions designed for yes to your own higher self. So are you now choosing to allow all of your multidimensional selves to be coherently realigned with the next level of your experience, your expression, to have freedom, to be healthy, happy. Well, that's a whole new word, happy. Passionately, abundantly, enjoying your life and making a difference just by showing up at the supermarket, smiling at somebody, and or being inspired and creating and coming together in our communities. Hey, how can I be of service to you? How can what I have help to make this more flavorful? And how can we have more fun? And how can along the way we get to create the new world, the new earth together, because this is why we're here. So next question, are you choosing then to allow all of this to unfold in the safest and most appropriate ways for you and all concerned at all times? The answer is yes. Just to give you a clue. Are you choosing to unplug from the program deeply conditioned for struggle? Do I hear a yes? Are you also then opening to greater ease and gentleness for which we are designed, for flow, for trust? Yes. And are you then along those lines opening and choosing to allow effortless grace, for instant and permanent shift of what's ready at this time, at each moment. And following on that, are you choosing to allow what's left over not to be disappointed, but just to trust there is purpose and that we are being held by the universe, held by consciousness in the principle of pronoia, the opposite of paranoia, that says all of life, all of the universe, not only has our backs, but is actively conspiring in our favor for our greatest good and the greatest good of all, because we are one with each other. Hello. And so, next agreement, are you choosing to allow that part of you that really is open to something different being possible in a different way than we've yet had access to, in that greater awareness? Yes. And are you choosing to allow the part of you that's really ready to be more of who you truly are, more of love, freer, having cleared off your slate, ready to cooperate and co-create? Yes, let's do it together. We're a part of each other. Who's up for playing, with each other and contributing and, and just being open to hearing something different, something from somebody else? Because we all have our shticks, So let's just all allow our nature to come together in that oneness that we are actually designed for. And so, last question, are you choosing to allow the part of you that knows how the heck to go do all that? The part of you beyond, just totally beyond your conscious mind, because what's really the power is consciousness. What's really the power is our higher self, which is beyond our conscious mind's ability to track. And believe it or not, beyond the body's need to act anything out or to process at the physical level, because anybody has issues in their tissues, they're getting healed in your field by neutralizing the signals of unresolved memory that keep poking at us. That's all it is, folks. Simple. So you clear the signal, clear the field, and the issues in your tissues get healed. So while all that's happening, beyond the speed of light, instantaneously, just take a moment, because it doesn't take long. So let's just take, a minute, 2 minutes, and just be in our breath, and just be in the center of our being, and just drift anywhere. This step in this protocol is a distraction for your conscious mind, while you just get to play and recreate, getting ready to co-create as you clear your slate in the background, effortlessly allowing the higher, wiser part of you that my friend Julia calls her Little Miss Know-It-All to take care. Let's take care of the mess. So just taking a moment to rest, to be somewhere, if you like, that's peaceful. Doesn't really matter what goes on at your conscious mind, quite honestly, right now. That might be news to some. For this protocol, and just notice that deeper level of relaxation that IRT takes you instantaneously to, where everything else just drops away. And in this case, you've chosen and made agreements for what drops away to be gone away completely and permanently for what was ready, as you build resilience and energy for the next wave that comes along, whenever that comes along. But in this moment, be present, be here now, and notice how you're feeling. And as you notice how you're feeling, breathe in and out with awareness of all your blessings. I laugh when I say that, all your blessings. We don't have time, honestly, to be here for all your blessings, but the idea is to get that ingredient into your soup, fully nourishing you with wholeness and oneness and love. And just allowing thoughts of gratitude to waft through and be present simultaneously. The elixir. So breathing in and out of your hearts with awareness of all of what you're grateful for, your blessings, and noticing how you're feeling. For most people, it's a deep, surprisingly deep, relaxed feeling. Some people will feel expanded or light, whatever it is. And choose a place, because remember, I promised you, you have another tool to take along your journey. It can be your heart, it can be tongue on the roof of your mouth, because no matter what you're doing with your hands, hugging a friend, whatever, you still always have the tongue on the roof of your mouth. You can have two, you can have three, you've got 2 hands, you've got a tongue. If you're an octopus, you can have 8. So choose 1 or 2 or 3 spots to simultaneously be aware of. Because chemical memory in the brain works to associated conditions. So the brain right now is programming a switch, an end result, chemical switch of wholeness on a whole new level, believe it or not. And the frequency of greater freedom to be more of yourself than ever before. Like, wow. And as you notice how that feels, noticing your touch or your places of touching that are being associated also by all levels of consciousness. Also breathing with awareness in and out of your beautiful hearts, all filled up and overflowing with blessings and gratitude. What brings you joy? And so now I invite you into programming that spot with 5 different breaths. So breathing in while you're touching, and breathing out, just dropping your touch. Second breath in, touching, and breathing out, letting go. Nothing to think about. 3 more times in your own rhythm. Bippity boppity boo. Excuse me. Once you've programmed yourself with 5, then you have access to 1. Plus, however many you feel you need in any given situation, any given moment, and the application of your touch and your breath is, best supportive when you remember before sleeping, when you wake up. Anytime you get triggered, I don't know if that happens to any of you, anytime something shows up that's not what you hoped it to be, or you just go into the world, justifiably, of course, how do you then bring yourself back to center? Not only bringing yourself back to center, but allowing everything that caused that trigger in the first place, because everything that's become associated and connected with that over all this time all gets dissolved simultaneously. It's all one frequency, it's all one chemistry, and everything is all here now. And then a beautiful way to build on the strength of that circuit is when you're in a group of people that you love, when you smell a rose, when, oh, there's a rainbow, oh, there's a hummingbird out my window, right? Add that in. So you're building on the beauty of life, you're building on love, you're building on the joy of who we are. So here we are. How are you? Are there any responses? Anybody would like to share what they're experiencing? Anybody
You can
have any
raise your
questions?
Emily, the
Raise your
mics
hand.
are locked. You'll need to raise your hand or wave at Kara or Ingrid.
Oh, by the way, I had put in my bio at the beginning, but I forgot to press enter. So there it is if anybody cares. You can also go to my website, maureenedwardson.com. But yes, how are you doing? Who are you in there? How are you feeling? Feel clear and light, ready to listen and be guided. Oh, yes, because that's where, when we're clear, we have that guidance and we get to not just listen, but be able to respond in positive ways. How beautiful is that? And and then Ingrid. Hi, Ingrid.
Hey.
Really quick, Ingrid, before we jump in, I've just unmuted the mics so everyone can, please, if you have anything, feel free to just, we've got about 10 minutes left. Go ahead, sis.
Okay. I was just wondering about the question in regards to unknowns. Because unknowns have a different flavor to them. Some unknowns have a bit of like, I don't know anything about that. That's like a push away. And some unknowns have like I don't know anything about that. What's going on with that? That feel of and I've heard it said that momentary confusion is a situation. Long-term confusion is a strategy. And in regards to like being drawn into and creating, turning on the newness of all of these awakening possibilities within ourselves, what are the, I don't know anything about that feeling triggers to draw us in, the magneticness into that frequency?
That's a good question, Ingrid. And the beautiful different paradigm of IRT is that you don't have to know because that higher, wiser part of yourself is looking out for you and it knows what is for you and what's not for you, and can easily make that distinction based on resonance. And so the unknown can then be a curiosity. It can be an adventure that we're open to because we know we're safe. Because that's why those questions are embedded in the protocol: safe and appropriate, right? Easy and gentle, effortless grace for instant and permanent shift, allowing what's not ready, that's not ours or not ours yet, just to show up in the right time, in the right way, so that all we need to do is breathe into every moment and allow ourselves to and if we have a feeling of uncertainty or lack of safety, then do your touch breath and clear what is not relevant. And there's nothing wrong with being concerned about anything because that's also a guidance system. And if it's not for you, or if it's the unknown and you're unsure about it, you can even say, okay, show me, because we're in charge. We're running our own reality here. No more victims, even of uncertainty. So the uncertainty can have a lot of gifts in it, and a lot of great mystery that is waiting to unfold. And that is probably the reason why we get, to not know, to be uncertain, and in that place where we, yeah, show me. Yeah, and make it safe, make it easy. And by the way, all those agreements are all embedded in chemical signature in the end result, a touch breath that you have. So on a daily basis, when you have that thought or concern, just, okay, clear the way, show me what's mine, show me what's next, show me what's in this moment. Does that
Beautiful,
make sense?
beautiful.
Did I
Thank you.
answer your question?
Yes, yes, it did. Thank you so very
Oh,
much.
okay.
And I,
Okay. Thank you so much. And I think, Charlotte was there, but Ursula, you've got your
Yes,
hand up still, and then we'll go to Charlotte.
yes, thanks, Maureen. I
Charlotte,
just wanted to appreciate how much emphasis you've given on the reality that we do have these different bodies in us, whether it's a mental body or a human body or an emotional body, a higher body, and the emphasis you're giving about speaking to them, inquiring of them, petitioning them, And I think that's really helpful in that kind of natural, like when you're a child, things happen in your life and you don't know why. But most of the time, it's because you always want something and look forward to something. So I really
Yes,
appreciate,
yes.
yeah, because the soul, as you were saying, that manages the whole body of us, it's beautiful at placing all these patterns and keeping the warehouse up to date. But then again, it's like, unless we update it, how does it know which way we want to go into the future? So I just wanted to appreciate that and thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much for your comment, Ursula. Yeah, I like the analogy of a child, at Christmas time. I remember one year when I found the closet where all the gifts were hidden, and I, got to peek, and oh, that was the worst Christmas I ever had because I already knew all the magic that was going to happen. And but sometimes surprises aren't, safe, are they, Ingrid? And so that's why we like to preempt and clear our own safety, and then we're safe to be open and trust ourselves even at a greater level.
And at
Yeah,
that
and
level
Charlotte,
of at the level of talking as a child, I found it's very helpful to give a name to your soul, to give a name to your higher self, because like any relationship, it would be very strange not to have a name to talk to call upon.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yes. Yes, yes, so creative. And we're all, we have our own inspirations and our own ways of relating, to all of who we are. It's really beautiful. And Charlotte, so nice to see you.
Hi. Um, Thank you. When you speak of just something that was really coming to me today, like when you say about clearing what's ready to be resolved, can you maybe just speak into readiness a little
Yes.
bit, what it means to be ready and the conscious versus I don't even want to say more than that and just ask you to speak on that if you
It's a
would.
good question. It's a good question.
Yeah.
We don't always know what's ready because we're very attached, aren't we?
Hmm.
And we're very attached to certain things being certain ways, and because we're familiar, But there's a lot of unfamiliar stuff that we're also attached to at the subconscious level that is not doing us any good. So there's a higher part of us that in that informational field, at the energetic informational pattern level, and that part of us that knows what's getting in our way for no good reason. And that's the only thing that gets shifted. And why more is possible with IRT, and why it's so much easier and effortless and faster, is that it's all at the informational energetic level, and there is that higher part of you, call it whoever you'd like. Ursula has a great idea, and just defer up to that, just like my friend Julia, it's her little Miss Know-it-all. Give it to the person that knows. Give it to the not the person, the energy that already knows your greatest good. And then with all of the embedded agreements, safe and appropriate, easy and gentle, you can't lose. You just allow then, because you put the safety parameters in between you and your higher self. And so what's ready at this time, we might want, oh, I want this to happen. But then we get to trust. We get to then allow an unfolding that we might have missed if we just gone poof. It's not all about poof. It's about, yeah, shifting and clearing the slate for what's up, so that something more can come up.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? One or a couple of last questions? Oh, hello. Hi, Joan. Nice to see you.
Hi, Marine. This is beautiful. Um, I don't know this is related or not. You are talking about this quantum computer our body is, and last week I was, I was touring around the quantum sensing lab, and how does that um, relate to this? Is this a quantum sensing way of awareness or consciousness or some sort?
Well, we're always aware of everything, not always consciously. And the quantum consciousness contains it all. And so, what do we need to be aware of at any given moment, or what are we choosing to be aware of? What makes more of that awareness possible to be accessed and then, utilized at whatever level we choose, is by clearing everything that's in the way of knowing. And so this is what our automatic higher superconscious, quantum superconscious, has the role of, our higher self. Because then, as we continuously clear, as we continuously keep current with what's ready to shift, by doing a simple technique of your defrag antiviral switch, that you keep your capacity building, you keep open space, you keep inspiration open and creativity and collaboration. That's how we find our way to greater consciousness. And I think that we're, some of us, and I'd like to see, the whole world like you. However, knowing that each of us, as we clears for everything and everyone on the planet. So I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question properly. I was going back to another question that you had earlier today. But basically, we are everything. We are all higher consciousness. We're one with all of it. So what is ours? What is our part? Well, we get to clear. We're breathing in an informational field. Consciousness is not outside of us. It's also inside of us. We are part of the dynamic, of universal consciousness. So did I address any of that question, Joan?
Yes, you did. I was just because this is the science technology community also is looking into this kind of quantum sensing, and we're talking about how this converge from what technology uh, could
Yes,
be benefit from this understanding or not. That's
absolutely. And the more we clear, the more we're open to understanding how everything works. So it's really beautiful. So thank you so much for your wise question.
Thank you, Maureen.
Well, thank you all so much. I think we're right off 1 minute to go. And so I really want to thank Ingrid and Shonda for their wonderful holding of space here today, and for so much that you're both doing for World Unity Week. I mean, you're on 24/7. You guys are just amazing to me. And you're sitting in the background quietly supporting and allowing and holding space for all of us that I'm just so very grateful to. And thank you all for showing up and for being here. It's much more fun to play with people.
Oh, this has been
So
such a
remember,
blessing.
pardon?
No, I was going to say this has been such a blessed memory. It was 3 years ago we were how I to watch. That's the first time I'd heard of IRT when you were in the gathering 3 years ago. Thank you so much for coming back, sister. I've watched you
Well,
travel the world with this blessing. Thank you so much.
thank you. Yeah, and may
Go
we
ahead,
keep
Ursula. We're fixing
remembering.
to do change over really quick, sis. We're at the top of the hour. Go ahead, Ursula.
Yes, just to add, Maureen, I was really moved when you went through so many examples of having a sentiment and expressing it through a reverence for nature, for all aspects of the fire, earth, air, and water. And I thought how differently one feels internally and all that's listening to us and that lives with us when we generate that reverence in ourselves. And then when you did the little meditation, I really felt that here was again the potency of how I felt internally earlier until we started that. And I felt the sincerity of calling to my higher self, the sincerity of calling to my soul and communicating with it. And I thought, my goodness, it feels so much more potent and so much more powerful. And maybe in that way, because of the sincerity and the reverence, something can receive the signal of one's inquiry or one's petition or one's longing, whatever it is. So I thought I'd reflect that back because that's very touching.
Thank you,
Thank you
beloved
so much,
sister.
Ursula.
Thank you. Okay, family, we need a clean cut. Let's move that way. Tara, I'd like you to move the sacred space you brought us in. I always like to close sacred space if we have opened it. Actually, we have the next hour, family. We're going to move back to open conversations about billboard projects and play more music. And so please stay with us. Sister, go ahead. I'm going to let you do that and then we will close the stream.
So we have called in the spirit of World Unity Week for Maureen Edwardson. She brought in her bibbity bobbity boo beauty to us today. And so let's big thanks and release and gratitude for those spiritual guides, for everything we've let go, to let it go into the universe where it belongs in its new place. And just closing this sacred space with joy.